Yes. So the title on which I am going to speak today is Preserving Health through Ayurveda in post-pandemic times. Since last 1.5 years almost, we have been talking about Corona, and last almost 6 to 8 months, almost each and every family is suffering from post-pandemic complication. First wave we tackled in a very proper manner, but in second wave, most of the families, almost in each and every family, at least one or more persons were suffering from Corona, and whatever the medications or treatment protocol that was prescribed, now we can see the complications of such treatment protocols, and we have to deal with all those post-pandemic clinical conditions. So here I'm going to talk about how we are going to preserve our health in these post-pandemic times. So as we all know that during Corona as well as after Corona, most of our lives were in pause mode. So everything was like halted. During Corona as well as almost after say June, July 2020, everybody was talking about health awareness. Each and every family member as well as person was talking about how they can increase their immunity with the help of all the say allopathic medications or Ayurvedic medications or any Ayush medication. So everybody suddenly started searching about how they can boost up their immunity, how they can improve their health with the help of either food material or medications. Even our entire print media as well as electronic media was talking about all kinds of immunoboosters from all medicines available in India as well as abroad. So that was a sudden say boost to Ayurvedic medicines, or we can say there was a lot of discussion about what kind of medicines, foods should be prescribed to protect ourselves from this virus. Even talking about Chyawanprash, we all know that the sale of Chyawanprash suddenly is in 2020. But most important that has been highlighted in Times of India that generally the sale of Chyawanprash is in the month of winter, but maximum Chyawanprash was sold in the month of summer where it was not supposed to sold in that level. So suddenly everybody was started consuming whatever medications which are prescribed by either Ayurvedic doctors or which are say in print media or electronic media, they were talking about that these medicines are good to increase the immunity. And suddenly market is flooded with all the immunity boosters, foods and supplement. And each and every person was talking about that this food or this medicine is very good for increasing the immunity. Since 2020, mid 2020, nobody was talking about that food material or fast food that is having immunity booster property. But suddenly everybody started thinking about taking an opportunity to to sell their products in the market. So as a physician as well as as the well-wishers of our patients, we should be aware and cautious about such kind of food materials, whether we should prescribe such food materials or not. So now just let me share these few very creative ads with you. Here you can see this is a famous dialogue from Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, and this is the bread company which advertises their bread with this Ja Simran Ja Badale Apni Immunity. So now, and here at the bottom, just a minute. Here you can see what they have done in their bread. Just they have added certain Indian spices, and now they are selling their product with the heading that this is very good for immunity. Not only this, yes, yeah. I come from the state of Gujarat, so here you can see immunity sandwich. You know? So suddenly all the fast food outlets were selling their products with such immunity titles. Here you can see certain fast foods where it is told that they are immunity booster dishes. Yes, very famous. Immunity booster Pani Puri. So suddenly Pani Puri was sold with the title Ayurvedic Pani Puri. Even we can see here the ice cream. Generally, we were advising all our patients as well as family member to cut the consumption of ice creams and everything because it is not good for respiratory tract system. But suddenly all the companies started selling their ice cream with the title that they are having now immunity booster. Even they started using the word Ayurvedic. Previously, everybody was using the title herbal, but suddenly mid 2020 changed the calculations, and now everybody was talking about Ayurvedic products, Ayurvedic food materials, Ayurvedic dishes. so that can boost the immunity of the consumer. So first and most important thing that we need to understand, as well as we need to convince our patients, as well as all those who are coming or visiting us in our OPDs, that immunity is not only about food. First, let me be very clear about that. And here comes the prayojan of Ayurveda, where we talk about swasthasya swasthya rakshanam and aturasya vikara prashamanam. So, for the maintenance of wealth, for building immunity takes time. It is not a short time goal. Also, it is not a magic, and certainly it requires consistent and conscious efforts by the family or by the persons. Then only we can increase the immunity. Small changes in our lifestyle can bring us multiple benefits. So what we were suggesting is just consumption of any medicine or food material is not going to increase the immunity of the persons. Rather, we need to stress that the persons or the family members need to change their lifestyle so that gradually the immunity will increase and they can stay away from not only corona but most of the post-pandemic complications also. So now what is important is this was an alarming bell. Entire this pandemic situation was an alarming bell, and so it was a time to reset our lifestyle. So what was needed is, first we need to stop. We need to analyze what kind of lifestyle we are living, what kind of changes that are recommended by the physicians or our family physicians, and we need to reboot it. We all are living in now this smart age where all the instruments are smartphones or laptops and everything, and sometimes when they do not work properly, just we switch it off, then switch it on, we just reboot it and it starts functioning very well. So this was the time for us to stop, analyze about our lifestyle, what we are doing with our body, mind, psyche, and we need to reboot everything. As madam has rightly told about the definition of health, which talks about these four aspects, that is physical health, mental health, social health, and spiritual health. So whatever I am going to share today, there's nothing new in that. These are all ancient practices which are told in our ancient texts, almost written 4,000 years back. But what is important is we need to revisit those concepts. We need to understand the importance of those concepts. And whatsoever manner we can adopt these practices in our lifestyle, gradually we are going to boost our immunity, and it is going to help us to stay away from diseases. So talking about physical health, most important concepts that are told in Ayurveda is certainly Dinacharya. In Dinacharya, everybody knows that Brahme Murte Uttishte Swaste Rakshartham Ayusha. So these are the things that we need to advise. Almost during first lockdown, second lockdown, and even after that, now everybody has become somewhat relaxed, somewhat lifestyle that they adopted in the last maybe 6 to 8 months. Now again they are going back to their own previous lifestyle, where late nights are there, they are waking up at around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning. So that needs to be reset. So Brahme Murte Uttishte, this is what Ayurveda says, that early morning, almost 96 minutes prior to the sunrise, it is considered as the best time for waking up. It is also good for study. It is also good for improving the psyche of the individuals. Also, Ayurveda talks about Danta Dhawan, and in Danta Dhawan also it is specifically told that the rasas like Madhur Ras should be avoided while Danta Dhawan, and the rasas like Katu, Tikta and Kashaya are generally recommended for the purpose of Danta Dhawan. But unfortunately, most of the toothpastes that are sold by most of the companies, most of them are having sweet taste. So now we need to spread the awareness about this, that what Ayurveda says and what exactly we are doing in practice. Abhyanga, Abhyangam Acharyat Nityam Sa Jarashram Vataha. So Abhyanga is considered as very good for a general health. It boosts immunity. It is good for the health of skin. And it most important impact of Abhyanga is Sa Jarashrama Vataha. It delays the process of aging. So whatever the signs that are we seen on our body due to age, the Abhyanga is going to reduce them. So signs of aging will be there, but somewhat at later stage. Urdhvan is considered as again one of the most important tools to reduce the subcutaneous fat. So all those individuals who are struggling to reduce the subcutaneous fat, Urdhvan is considered as very good. Also, Urdhvan helps to clear all the channels to get open properly, and all the functions of skin can be re-established with the help of Udvartan. Vyayam, yes, everybody has understood the role of Vyayam. Vyayam is considered as most important entity in Vihar, which helps us to maintain our health, which helps us to boost our immunity. And in Vyayam also, Ayurveda has a very precise guidelines that whenever the strength is more, Ayurveda says that the intensity of Vyayam should be more. But when the shlok is written in Ashtanga, which clearly says that Shite Agram, Vrishti Gharme Alpam, Balam Madhyam tu Sheshayo. So as in Shita Rutu, that is Hemant in Shishir, when we consider that the strength is at the highest level, one should indulge in Vyayam almost half of his capacity. When the strength is at minimum level, that is Vrishti Gharme, that is in summer season and rainy season, we need to reduce the intensity of the Vyayam. And when the strength is at moderate level, Balam Madhyam tu Sheshayo, that is in Vasant Rutu and Sharad Rutu, we need to adopt moderate kind of exercises. So if you are using gym for purpose of exercise, then also we need to increase or reduce the intensity of exercise as per the Ayurveda guidelines. For Snan, Ayurveda clearly mentions that Snan, while doing Snan, Ushnodak should be used, but that should be used only below the subclavicular area, and exactly above the head as well as above the neck. Ayurveda recommends that Shita Jal should be used, because Ushna Jal is not considered as for the health of eyes as well as for the health of ears. So these are very simple guidelines that can be adopted. Even these guidelines do not take that much time. So these are the simple protocols which can be adopted by all the individuals to gradually improve their immunity. So these are all beyond food material. So this is what Ayurveda recommends. While talking about Rutucharya, Ayurveda talks about 6 seasons and their regimen. While talking about the season, Ayurveda gives the details about the climatic conditions of that season, what kind of clothing pattern should be adopted, what kind of food materials should be persons, what kind of exercises, whether more or less, that guidelines are also provided, and even the do's and don'ts about that particular season has been thoroughly discussed in almost all the samhitas. So we need to propagate all these guidelines with all the common man so that they can start concepts. Ayurveda also emphasizes on the concept of Rutu Sandhi, which is the duration of 2 weeks. And in these 2 weeks, gradually, we need to reduce the Rutucharya that we were following previous season, and gradually we need to adopt the Rutucharya of next season. What are the benefits? Ayurveda clearly says that if we follow this protocol in Rutu Sandhi duration, then we may protect our health when the season changes. And most of the patients who are coming to our OPDs are with the complaints due to seasonal change. So simple protocols like Rutu Sandhi and the guidelines that are told for Rutu Sandhi, if they are followed, then certainly most of the patients can save themselves from all those seasonal disorders. Right now we are in Varsha Rutucharya. For Varsha Rutucharya also Charak Samhita special guidelines are available that we need to reduce the water content. We should avoid the water from Nadi Chalam, which is considered as polluted one. While about exercises, Ayurveda clearly says that in Varsha Rutu, the exercise should be at a very minimum level. And most important, in Varsha Rutu, they say that we need to consume the food material because while talking about Lokapurush Samya Siddhant, in Varsha Rutu, the entire climatic conditions are humid. So water content in the environment as well as water content in the body is at highest level. So we need to consume the food material which is having Ruksha Gun, because Ruksha possesses the property that is Shoshane Ruksha. So that excessive water content can be absorbed with the help of Ruksha Gun. Also, Ayurveda recommends that the consumption of Shaudra or honey should be increased in Varsha Rutu. So these are the very simple guidelines about Rutucharya that we need to make aware of. Also, one more concept which is told in almost all the Samhitas, and that is the concept of Dharani Vegas and Adharani Vegas. Ashtanga Udaya Sutrasan 4th chapter, Na Vegan Dharaniya, Roganutpadani, which clearly says about Veganna Dhare, Vat Vindmutrak, Shavatrut Chudan, Nidra Kasa, Shramashvasa, Jumbashru Charvirestra. So they talk about these 13-14 natural urges where we are not supposed to suppress them. Because if there's a continuous habit of suppressing them, then certainly Vata dosh is going to aggravate in our body, and now that Vata dosh is going to invite multiple diseases which are related to that organ or that system. So these 14 RJs, suppression should be avoided. If we spread awareness about these natural urges, certainly people will stop suppressing these natural urges, and gradually there will be prevention of the diseases which are caused due to the suppression of natural urges. So now Ahar plays a very important role when we talk about health. As Ayurveda clearly says, Deho hi Ahar Sambhavaha, Ahar Sambhavo Vastu. So our health is directly proportional to our Ahar. So what kind of Ahar we are consuming? Ayurveda says that the Ahar should be taken after taking into consideration the concept of Prakruti. So that person should know about the Prakruti, and then only he should select that what kind of food material is good for him or what kind of food material should be avoided that person. So while prescribing the diet, Prakruti plays a very important role. Ayurveda mainly talks about the timings for taking Ahar is twice or maximum 3 times a day. So breakfast, lunch and dinner, not more than that. So we need to be cautious about that. Even in breakfast, we can advise someone, as most of the persons leave their home in the morning and they return to their home in the evening. So we can advise, or lifestyle changes can be advised on the basis of food, that they can adopt a breakfast which is comparatively heavy. We can advise a working lunch, so then they can continue work at their places, and dinner can be considered as lighter one, so that this food material will be digested properly, and all the disorders which are due to the indigestion can be easily avoided. Even many times we come across with the patients who clearly tell us that as most of the family members cannot take their breakfast and lunch together, so all the family members, they come together for dinner, and dinner is considered as the most heavy food in their whole day, and even dinner is followed by sometimes dessert or fruit dishes. So that we need to educate people that dinner should always be heavy, and consuming fruits or even desserts at night should generally be avoided. So these are very simple tips that we need to give to our patients, or all those who are thinking about maintaining their health. While talking about fruits, we can advise them in the for breakfast as well as lunch, as well as eating in the evening. That should be avoided at night. Yes, there are certain shlokas about food. So this is from Charak Samhita, Deshanam Amayanam cha Viparita Gunam Gunaihi Satme Michanti Satme Dnyas Cheshtitam cha Adyam Evacha. So this is in the context of Prakruti. So each and every person has to take the diet which is having of opposite qualities. Even Deshanam, wherever they are staying, whatever the diseases they are suffering, so the diet should be opposite to their habitat as well as to the diseases. Even Ayurveda also talks about the concept of iti uktam rutu satmyam yat cheshta ahara vyapashrayam. So in each and every season we need to adopt, or we need to advise the food material as well as the daily routine which is suitable to that patient or that person, so that they can maintain their health. Also one more shloka clearly says ahara achara cheshtasu sukharthi pretyecha ihacha param prayatnam atishte. So we are expecting maximum efforts from the person in the context of their ahar, this food material, achar and cheshta, their daily regimen. So if they are cautious about their food, if they are cautious about their daily regimen, they are cautious about their exercise pattern, and param prayatnam atishte, maximum effort should be done for these three, and then only the person can stay away from various diseases. Yes, this is in the context of Prakruti Viprit Gunas Tesham Swastha Vritte Vidirhitaha. So Ayurveda clearly says, Acharya Chara clearly says, Viprit Gunas Tesham. So we need to consume the food material which is having opposite properties to our Prakruti. So if a person is having Pitta Prakruti, then he need to avoid the food material which is having the same qualities as that of Pitta. Quotation number 9, which comes from Vimansthan, which says, Matraya api abhyavratam cha pathyam cha annam na jiryati. So we need to be very cautious not only about the quantity of the food, we also should be cautious about quality of the food, and along with that, this shloka clearly says, Matraya api abhyavratam pathyam cha annam. Though the person is taking patyahar, though the person is taking proper food in proper quantity, but the factors like chinta, shoka, bhaya, krodha, dukkha, shayya, prajagarai, they can interfere in the process of digestion. So one needs to stay away from all these negative factors as well as night awakening for the proper digestion of the food. So with this, we can advise the patient about proper dietetic guidelines. Now, as the title of my presentation was post-pandemic, how we need to deal with. These are the shlokas from Ashtanga Hridaya, which are very apt or precise, which clearly mentions Bheshaja Kshapite Patyam. During this corona, almost all those persons who are suffering, they took a lot of antibiotics, even various supplementations. And after that, most of them are now suffering from the complications, whatever the antibiotics or whatever the medicine that was consumed for the purpose of dealing corona. So all these conditions are termed as Bheshaja Kshapite. Patyam Aharehi Bruhanam Prabhat. So the first and most important factor in Bruhan comes Patya Ahar, like Shali, Shashtiga, Goduma, Mudga, Mansa, Ghrutadivi. So these are to be increased gradually. Hridya Deepana Vaishajya, Sanyogada Ruchi Paktidahi, Sabhyanga Udvartana, Snana Nirva Sneha Bastivi. Tatha Salabate Sharma, Sarva Pavaka Patavam, Hi Varnendriya Vaimalyam, Prishatam Dayatam Ayusha. So all those persons who are dealing with post-pandemic complication, this is the precise Chikitsa Sutra, or you can say this is a fundamental principle to deal with their complications. If you gradually take care about the food material on the basis of these guidelines, all those medicines which are good for, say, cardiac conditions, deepen the medicines which are going to increase the strength of Agni, and Ruchi Pakti Dahi, which are good in the digestion of that food material. Even along with that, the regimens like Abhyanga, Udvartan, Snana, and the treatment protocols like Niruha and Sneha Basti, they are considered as best to deal with such clinical conditions. Now, in addition to Ahar, what is important is we need to fix our schedule. As a biological clock is fixed, so we need to fix our food timings and we need to consume our food on that scheduled or fixed time only. Ayurveda also has a very precise guideline related to the consumption of water, where it is clearly mentioned if the person is consuming water before their food, it reduces Agni, it leads to Karsha. If the person is taking water or drinking water while taking the food, it is considered as good for maintaining the weight. And if the person is drinking water after taking the food, then it says that it is going to increase Samastula Krusha. So this is what clearly mentioned in Ashtanga Hridaya. So we need to educate people about this. Also, Ayurveda clearly focuses on a balanced diet which incorporates all the 6 rasas. Ayurveda clearly mentions Sama Sarva Rasam Satmyan. So a person, if he is habitual to all these 6 rasas, then he always consume a diet which is predominant of all the 6 rasas. Even we also need to take into consideration the traditional food practices. Say in Gujarat, we have a practice of consuming buttermilk daily, because the diet which is prescribed in Gujarat, it contains excessive oil and gruta. And if you go back to Charak Samhita Sutrasthan, 2nd chapter, Apamarga Tanduliya, where the complications of Gruta Taila Vyapatti Nashini Yavagu, they clearly talk about this takra. And that's why the traditional food material or the traditional food practices throughout India are designed in such a way so that it's a balanced diet. If we are doing it partially, we are doing injustice with our food. So traditional food or home cooked food which is warm is always recommended by Ayurveda. In Ayurveda, proper use of oil and ghee is necessary. Milk and ghee is considered as a base rasayan when the people are running after very costly rasayanas. Ayurveda clearly says Vrita Kshirabhyaso Rasayananam, Govrita Kshirabhyaso Rasayananam. So these are the cheapest and easily available rasayanas that are to be prescribed, consumed by all the individuals. As everybody has started consuming Western food, we can allow it, but occasionally only, not on a daily basis. One need to avoid the processed food, fast food, or the food material which is which has excessive preservatives in that in the form of either sugar or salt. Also, daily consumption of bread should be avoided. For water, we can advise the person to consume or drink lukewarm water, or even we can advise Siddha Jal with the help of Shuddhi Adrak, or Chirak Siddha Jal is considered as better for drinking throughout the day. Ministry of Ayush has also come up with the concept of golden milk, which is nothing but milk, turmeric, arthric, sugar, which can be advised twice, that is morning as well as evening hours. Nidra plays a very important role in our health, and that's why it is a part of Traya Upastambha. So, as Ayurveda clearly mentions, at night only, Ayurveda recommends Nidra, that is Divaswa, during only Grishma Ritu. Besides that, throughout year, one should always avoid Divaswa, so no day sleeping. Again, early to bed, early to rise. When we recommend our patients that Brahme Murte Uttishte, so it means the person is supposed to wake up early in the morning, but that is not possible if the person is, say, he is doing late nights. If he is sleeping at around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, then it is next to impossible to wake up at around 5 o'clock. So what is important is early to bed and early to rise. Then only we can advise them Brahme Murte Uttishte. Again, minimum 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very much needed for a healthy mind and healthy body. Use of electronic gadgets should be avoided after 8 p.m. because excessive use of these electronic gadgets or that bright light, even modern science clearly says that it interferes with the this melatonin secretions, which is responsible for proper sleep. So, electronic gadgets in the form of TV, laptop, mobiles should be avoided after 8 p.m. After dinner, one should indulge either in the he should listen good music, laptop or mobiles that causes excessive strain or stress on our body as well as eyes. So to reduce the negative impact of such kind of bright lights, we can advise the patients to go for Pratimarshan Nasya with the help of Gogruta. Shirobbenga is considered as best to reduce the psychological stress as well as for a sound sleep. Golden milk I have already told previously. And we need to advise avoid heavy food, milkshakes, ice creams, sweets, chocolates, desserts, fruit dishes precisely at night because all these things are not going to be digested properly. In long term or in long run, they are going to lead to AMO and then a vicious cycle of diseases starts. So we need to educate our patients with that. Most important part is about mental health. We all are aware about Achar Rasayan. While talking about the concept of Achar Rasayan, Acharya Chara clearly says that Achar Rasayan is recommended to all those persons who are planning to consume any kind of Rasayan Aushadhis. So the impact of Rasayan Aushadhis will not be there, or the result of Rasayan Aushadhis will not be seen if the person is not following Achara Rasayan. Achar Rasayan is for mental and social well-being. So Satyavadinam, Akrodham, Nivrittam Madhyamaithunat, Ahinsakam, Anayasam, Prashantam. Mental peace is very much important. Priyavadinam, very pleasant speech. Japa Shaucha Param, meditation is required. Dana Nityam, Tapasvinam, Devago Brahmana, Acharya Guru, Vriddha, Archane Ratam. So in almost each and every Samhita, we such kind of guidelines which can improve our mental well-being. Samajagrana Swapnam, Nityam Kshiragritakshanam. Also, they clearly talk about Desha Kala Pramanatya. We should be very much cautious about habitat where we are living, timings, Brahman, and accordingly we need to plan everything. Upasitaram, Vruddhanam, Astikanam, Siddharthanam, Dharma Shastra Param Vidya. Gradually we are getting away from all the Dharma Shastras. So Ayurveda clearly says that whatever the guidelines which are provided in Dharma Shastras related to health that we are supposed to follow. And at last they clearly mentions Gunarete Samuditaihi Prayunte Yo Rasayanam Rasayan Gunan Sarvan Yathoktan Sasamustate. So the benefits of Rasayan will only be there if a person follows Achar Rasayan. So we need to be cautious about this. So only prescribing Chavan Prashas, golden milk and everything. And if the person is not following this Achar Rasayan, we are not going to get good results of all those Rasayan medicines. We need to make it very clear to all the patients. Then the concept of Dharani Vivek. Previously, we have seen the concept of Adharani Vivek, which deals with physical health, whereas the concept of Dharani Vivek, where we are supposed to reduce all these things, that is Lobersha, Dvesha, Mastaryam, Raga, Dinam, Jitendriya. So, separation of all these negative emotions keeps that person mentally fit, and that's why we need to make the persons aware that it is for their own good that they should stay away from these negative emotions. Whenever these emotions are at a level of psyche, immediately they should suppress them instead of indulging into those negative emotions or acting according to those negative emotions. Ayurveda has also very clear-cut guidelines about Sadvritti in Ashtanga Sutra, second chapter Dinacharya, where it clearly says Sukhartha sarva bhutana matah sarva pravrittaya sukham channa vina dharma tasmat dharma paro bhavet. So whatever activities that we are doing on daily basis to meet our daily needs, so for bread and butter, whatever activities we are doing, all those guidelines should be prescribed or should be permitted by all the religious scriptures. We shouldn't indulge in such activities which are going to put negative stress on our psyche. So that's why whatever work, whatever activities we are doing, they are to be permitted by religion or whatever the scriptures that we are believing. So yes, during Corona, even after that, we have seen most of the people who are doing work from home. Major job losses were there. Even most of the persons, even in private sector, were having like 50% of salary cuts, and that have put physical, psychological, financial, emotional, unnecessary strain or stress on each and every family. And now they have to deal with that. Online teaching learning process itself was a very tiresome. What we need to advise is exercise and physical activity, because modern science also accepts that doing exercise is responsible for secretion of all those feel good hormones which are going to keep that person mentally fit. So exercise is having, certainly it has a good impact on the physique of the person, but simultaneously all those feel good hormones are having the positive impact on the psyche of that individual. So we need to encourage all such persons to indulge into activities, one or other kind of activities. They can choose any kind of activities in the form of gym, jogging, cycling, yoga, medication, whatever they can follow. Even when the persons are at home, we always advise them to follow their hobbies, because following our hobbies in the form of painting, music, reading, cooking, gardening, or even housekeeping reduces the mental stress, and that is considered as very good. So it is always good to help our say life partners in the day-to-day household work. So that is going to put a full stop, or we can say that is going to relieve him or her as well as ourselves from the negative mental pressure. So for mental health, exercise or indulging into one or other kind of physical activities, keep ourselves busy. That is very much important. Also, for mental health, spending time with our friends or family members is considered as very good. Even indulging with kids in the form of storytelling or even playing with them, it reduces the psychological pressure of R also. Talking with elderly, even the short picnics like that, learning something new, maybe language, new skills, something. If you are continuously busy with learning something new, it is good for our mental health. We have seen many suicides during this corona, even post-pandemic duration. So all those persons who couldn't tolerate that unnecessary physical, psychological stress, they adopted this way of suicide. So what is important is we need to make all our family members, friends, society members that they should talk. Talking is an initiative which reduces the psychological stress. So to bring away them from depression, for that we need to talk to them. So that is very much needed. And that's why we always advise that all those persons, either who are living them working in a very isolated places, they should not isolate yourself. You need to have either a group of members, friends to whom you can communicate regularly, so that the mental health can be maintained. Yes, share our feelings, that is very much important. And all those persons who fall in the category of introvert, those who generally do not share their feelings, they were more prone for such kind of depressions. So we need to educate our patients for sharing their feelings, which will reduce the mental pressure. And if needed, most important, they can talk to their physician. So we need to available 24/7 for our patient, so that that negative pressure, they shouldn't succumb to that negative pressure. And yes, last, and being a doctor, this is also we need to advise, medicine should be the last resource. Medicine cannot be the first resource for dealing mental health. Whenever all kinds of these treatment modalities have failed, then only we should prescribe any kind of medication for mental health, and that too for a very short duration. We cannot keep patients on medication for a very long time for improving their mental health, because all kinds of medicines which are used for mental health, they will have their negative side effect on their mental health in long run. Talking about social health, yes, social relations are very important with our friends, relatives, workplace, even our residential places, even at our workplaces. If there is more and more positive at our workplace, certainly there won't be any kind of negative pressure, and everything, but it will be working in a very pleasant manner. Yes, we have seen that even newspapers, all the print media, even electronic media has highlighted that during lockdown, when all the family members were together, we have seen maximum cases of divorce were reported or they were enlisted. So we couldn't handle that togetherness somehow. So this is the impact of if we cannot handle the mental pressure. Yes, we have seen migration, a lot of migration during this COVID duration. So if we can help the people in a proper way, certainly we can boost our own social health, and we can say we will be responsible for a very good and healthy society. Yes, excessive use of gadgets sometimes isolates us. Now we are living in an era of nuclear families where hardly there are one or two persons in the family members, or hardly three members, husband, wife, and kid. And that isolation obviously leads to addiction of such this electronic gadgets in the form of say TV or social media or laptop or mobile. So we need to stay away from that. If we are addicted to such kind of gadgets, certainly it will be responsible for social isolation, and in a long run, it will have a very negative impact on our social health. Is the last and most important aspect of our health is spiritual health. Yes, reading. So following our scriptural practices, whatever is recommended in our religious books, wherever we have faith, we need to read such books. So the readings related to Adhyatma should be gradually increased. Generally, recommend Bhagavad Gita, because all those positive thoughts, if the person is continuously reading such auspicious books, so all those positive thoughts are going to relieve the negativity from our minds, and that will help to keep that person physically and mentally healthy. Meditation, regular meditation practices are advised. Yes, if you are believing in some kind of spiritual guru, so whatever the guidelines you are told by spiritual gurus should be followed. But what is important is we need to start working on the spiritual health, because in India or throughout the world, there's a tendency that one should think about the spiritual health when they are retired. But if we start our journey towards a spiritual health, the very early age, it helps us to live our life in a very healthy and religious and proper way. Yes, talking about the immunity boosters, this is a list of immunity boosters. Golden milk, that which is recommended by Ministry of Ayush. Yes, that is good. Medicated water with the help of all these herbal medicines is good. Taking steam if it is necessary. Nasya in the form of pratimmersion nasya, maybe tiltel or go is considered as best. Gandush with the help of lukewarm water, which is added with some turmeric or simple tiltel for the purpose of gandush or kaval, is considered as best to increase our oral immunity. Even kavalam with the help of lukewarm water, turmeric, and tiltailam is recommended. The daily consumption of milk and grit needs to be gradually increased. Yes, Sanchamani Vati, which is considered as good Rasayan medicine, that we can advise the patients that they can take on daily basis. The Rasayanas like Chawanprash, Pipli Rasayan, Chitrak Karitiki, on the basis of Prakruti. We cannot have a single Rasayan which can be recommended to all the individuals. So before prescribing any kind of Rasayan, we need to take into consideration Prakruti of that person, and according to Prakruti, we need to prescribe the Rasayanas. Yes, Ayush Kaut, which was very famous in almost last 16-18 months, that we can prescribe. But again, we need to be cautious about that, because most of the medicines in Ayush Kaut are Pitta Prakopak. So particularly Pitta Prakruti patients should avoid such kind of cost, or the consumption should be kept at a very minimum level. Otherwise, such kind of cost which are recommended or which are consumed for immunity boosting, the person may land up with Pitta Prakopa conditions. And yes, this is the most important guideline that we need to our patients, that consult your Ayurvedic physician before starting anything. Do not follow anything which is shown or written in print media or social media. You just visit your consultant or family physician, and as per their guideline, they should start consuming the Rasana drug. These are the liquids. Here we can see this is the Siddha Jal with the help of Jirak, honey, milk. This is golden milk or Grita. These are the can say food materials or medicine that can be consumed by the person to increase the immunity. Yes, Indian spices, they have become, as I have told you or shown you some slides in the beginning, most of the fast food outlets or ice cream or even pani puri, they are using these spices. They will just add these spices in their product and they are selling their products with the title Ayurvedic or immunity boosters. So instead of that, whatever Indian spices that we are consuming in our food, that is quite sufficient. So there's no need to consume some extra Indian spices for the purpose of increasing immunity. If we are taking home cooked traditional food, which is routine wherever we are living, so all the traditional foods are having sufficient Indian spices, so that is good for our immunity. Yes, the herbs like pipli, turmeric, yes, here pipli, even tulsi or adrak or shunti are considered as good for improving the immunity. Healthy lifestyle plays a very important role in which home cooked warm food should be recommended. Exercise, there should be a daily pattern of exercise, and even exercise should be decided as per our prakruti, as per our season. Meditation practices should be advised. Proper sleep schedule, minimum 6 to 8 hours of sleep. Day sleeping should be avoided except Grishma Rutu. Spend some time with the family and friends, kids. That is very much important to reduce the mental pressure. And yes, most important, helping others improves our own mental health, and that's why always the words like dana nityam, etc., are used in our samhita. So we should strongly believe in the concept of giving. So help others howsoever we can, in whatever capacity. If we can help our neighbors, friends, or other persons, certainly it will have a very positive impact on our own health. So this is all about my presentation. At last, I would like to leave with this beautiful quotation from Ashtanga Hridaya. Nityam hitahara vihara sevi samikshakari vishayeshu asaktaha data samaha satyaparaha shamavan aptopasevicha bhavatya rogaha. Bhavatya rogaha, this is the key for maintaining a very healthy life, which clearly mentions Nityam hita ahara vihara sevi. It means whatever ahar, whatever vihar we are following, that should be hitkar to us, that should be suitable to us, that shouldn't cause any kind of complication. Samikshakari, we should always be cautious about our food. We should always analyze about our daily regimen, our lifestyle, and regularly, if there is something wrong with our lifestyle, we need to correct it with the help of Ayurvedic consultants. Vishayeshu asaktaha, we should stay away from all those vishayas where we will be more and more attachments. Yes, as I told you previously, we should help in whatsoever manner we can. Samaha, a balanced behavior, a diplomatic behavior is recommended. Satyaparaha, strongly we should believe in the concept of Satyaparaha, and Kshamavan, forgiving attitude. So Satyaparaha, Data, Samaha, Kshamavan, Apto, these are all very good qualities which are not only enlisted in our ancient Ayurvedic texts, almost they are related in all of our religious books. So all these guidelines are just to improve the social health, to improve the psychological health, and to reduce the mental pressure. So all these guidelines are very much important. So this is everything from my side. Once again, I extend my sincere thanks to Shashirekha ma'am as well as Manjunath sir and the entire team behind this concept of webinar series for providing me the opportunity to interact with all of you. Thank you very much.